So Gary Rowett has been announced as the new Derby County manager. It was announced at like 6 this morning. I think it's been a process that's been going on for probably longer than McLaren was sacked and we brought in Rowett. Like it's probably been going on a little bit longer than that in terms of Derby actually looking at who we actually want, and clearly we wanted Rowett because it was very quickly done. And yeah, I'm glad that we have given him the contract until 2018-19, and I want him to stay until the end of that contract, okay? And then assess him. Don't sack him, okay? Because if we keep sacking him, if we sack him at all, then that record will get even worse. 5 managers in 13 months. No, no, Derby. That shouldn't happen. We had Clough for like, what was it, 5 years? We need to stick back to that. We need to keep a manager at the club for a while, because look at what Clough did. He brought in Hughes, he brought in Hendrick, and he built the foundations of this club that obviously McLaren built on. He did bring in some very good players. That's one thing I did really like McLaren about. He knew how to sign a player. He was probably our best manager for signing players. He got some cracking players at the club at the time, but now we got to move on. The one thing as well I like about Gary Rowett is the fact he can turn rejects into some really good players. You got Adam Legstins. He played for Derby, played for Burton, and now he's the first team keeper at Birmingham. It's astonishing. Ryan Shotton, he was sat on the bench every week for Derby, and now he's a first team regular for Birmingham. And clearly he can sign some good players, because Lucas Jukovic from Burnley, he was a reject. He was sat on the bench, and they picked him up, and now he's been scoring goals for them. Another player, Che Adams, a one for the future. That's what we need to look at Derby. We need to potentially looking at maybe signing him. I think he is a really good player, Che Adams, at Birmingham. It'll be interesting to see if he does actually sign any of these Birmingham players. I'm not too sure. I haven't really seen much of Birmingham, to be honest with you. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see if he does bring in any of his former players, of course. Just looking at some of the tweets from the press conference. Unfortunately, I couldn't hear it, but maybe some of you guys will know where I can actually listen back to it, because I would quite like to see what was said. And the one thing I've noticed straight away was this question. I'm glad someone asked that. What system are we going to play? We play the one that wins, yeah? Whether that is all those formations, 5 at the back, I don't care. Just win. Whatever it takes. It shouldn't be the Derby way. Derby way 4-3-3. It didn't work. It didn't work. So we need to get a new system. We need to look at bringing in the players that he wants. Derby need to give him until the end of that contract as well, because we have so much deadwood in the club. He may not be able to get rid of it all in the next window. It's going to be interesting though, that's for sure. And he's got a really good opportunity to assess the players until the end of the season. If he does pick up 6 wins in the next 9 games, we'll be in the playoffs. But yeah, I don't think that's going to happen, is it, lads? So a little bit unfortunate that this season, it's been one of our worst seasons, to be honest. It has been pretty dire. But hopefully now we stick with Rowett for at least 2 or 3 years and go forwards that way. So yeah, let us know what you guys think about the appointment of Rowett, whether he is the right man for the job. I might actually leave a straw poll down below if you want to vote on that, whether Gary Rowett is the right man or not, whether we should have given McLaren a bit more time. I just feel like he's a good manager, yeah, and I think he is the kind of like rough kind of guy, not too rough though, not Pearson rough, but just rough enough to be able to get some motivation into these players, because that's what they need. They're on a lot of money, motivating millionaires. Someone said that the other day. It might have been like Owen Bradley or something from BBC, but yeah, motivating these expensive players, it's difficult. It's a lot harder than what it was back in the day when people would do it as a passion. Now it's an employment opportunity. That's what football is. Like, I think Asu Akoti from Spurs, he genuinely said he doesn't like football. He does it for the money. Yeah? So clearly there are some footballers, they're not all going to admit that, but I'm glad he did that. Whether he was a good footballer or not, that's another thing. But yeah, another thing, I'm glad that he's brought in his staff, because what McLaren kind of did was just come into the Pearson staff. He didn't have his own. He didn't have Paul Simpson. He didn't have what was his name, Eric Steele, the goalkeeping coach. He just had to be put in with what he had, which at the time was probably the reason we did get Steve McLaren, because it was quite a cheap option, because he had just been rejected by well, not rejected, but sacked by Newcastle after not the best of seasons. So hopefully we get a new technical director guy who signs some proper players. Like, we need to sign some good players, lads, because we genuinely haven't signed a good player since. I'm trying to think. You could say Tom Ince, but like 6.5 million, 7 million. Is that a good price for him? And that's going to be an interesting factor as well, whether we can get Ince to perform under Gary Rowett, and I hope he can, because he is a very good player when he does perform. And we'll have to see if we can do that. So hopefully, guys, did enjoy this quick little video on Gary Rowett. Make sure you do smash the like button, leave a vote down below, and leave your comments as well. That'd be interesting to see what you guys think. And see you soon. Bye.